Star Wars weekend, the boys of the movie won't get up. Clone Wars, anybody watch Clone Wars? Excellent. Hey, make sure you check out all our other fantastic shows, but right now, I think we should get right to it, don't you? Oh man, are you pumped? I'm calling you out there too, are you all excited? Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars royalty. I mean, what can I say about this guy? I'm just gonna have to say, take a look at these screens.
You could be on Star Tours right now.
That's right.
You could be on Space Mountain. You could be at the Hall of Presidents.
We can all look with you later.
We're going to the Hall of Presidents. Finally, Franklin Pierce is getting the recognition he deserves. So that's very important.
Come on in. Let's have a seat.
Let's have a conversation with Mark Hamill.
Let's have a conversation.
We need a one-handed monologue.
Yeah, here's how it happens. I'll go, Mark, tell us about, and then you'll just go.
I'll just make up a story.
No, we finally have you here at Star Wars Weekend. We are so grateful for you, and it's such an amazingly busy man, and to take the time to come here, this is great. So,
it's a vacation for me too. My wife is here, my 3 children are here, I have my mother-in-law, aunts, uncles, nieces, my probation officer. Everybody's here, and you know, Nathan, my oldest son, was born when we were making Empire Strikes Back, so he has a British passport, and it's easier for him to get into the country than it is for me to get
Now, you know, let me ask you, have you been working on anything lately?
This weekend, clean shaven. I'm not used to, you know, the facial fur. But there's this little independent low-budget picture, and it's the life story of George Lucas. I'm up for the title role.
So, okay. You know, the thing is, here's the thing about all of that. My opinion, Mark, is when I saw Star Wars the first time, it was magical. It was magical for so many reasons, but one of the reasons is I didn't know everything about it. I went in, and I just was taken up in the magic of all of it. And that's what I am looking forward to about Episode 7, is just having that time where I try to just shut away. So I want to talk to you about your career. I want to talk to you about Star Wars 4, 5, and 6. I want to talk to you about how it all began. So if you don't mind, we're gonna skip over all that because I want to be excited. I know some of you want to be surprised when you see this movie as well, right?
So before we leave that subject matter of keeping secrets, it's not a game. You know, it's not like we're trying to annoy the fans or drum up it's like trying to plan a really big, elaborate surprise party. And you're trying to decide what food you're going to get, and who's going to decorate it, and, where you're going to have it, and so forth. And it's mostly so we can maximize your eventual enjoyment of the picture. And we want you to see it at the movies, not on the internet. And so it's very nice. There are blue meanies out there. There are blue meanies out there that are going to try and show you every creature, and God knows they'll probably try and leak the script and put it online. So if I were you, I'd do that. I don't know about you, I've seen trailers where you go by. I get to see the whole movie. You want some surprises, that's all. Okay, well, we're done with that.
We're done with that. Thank you, though. Thank you so much. Now, let's go back to
And I didn't grow my beard fast enough. The last day I shaved was the day after the table read, April 29th.
Yeah.
And as the table recorded, this is 6 weeks. I gotta get going, man.
It's nice.
All right.
Now, let's go back to the beginning of your Star Wars adventure.
Yes.
Okay? And tell us about the audition process. Did you even know the name of the movie? How did it all begin for you?
I had a friend, I had just done a series called The Texas Wheelers for Mary Tyler Moore Productions, and it was canceled. I was sort of depressed about that, and my friend Robert England, who was Freddy Krueger and all the horror pictures, he goes, have you been up for that George Lucas movie? I said, what is it? Because I knew it from American Graffiti. He said, I think it's like Flash Gordon or something. We don't get to see the script, but it's all set in space and everything. And I said, are you up for it? He said, I didn't get it. That's what I'm telling you. So he wouldn't tell me about it until he was sure that he had been passed over. That's so, actors are like that. Actors are like that. But when I think about it, I think Robert must have been up for the Han Solo character.
I don't know, yeah.
But I went out, I told my agent, I said, I really want to go out on this thing. And I think we knew it was called, I think they called it The Star Wars. But it was what they call a cattle call, which means the room is filled with actors. And it was twofold. Brian De Palma was seeing people for Carrie, the Stephen King horror film, and George was seeing people for Star Wars.
In the same space.
In the same space. So when you went in at a table with George and Brian. And George never spoke. It was Brian that did all the talking. I didn't know. I thought maybe George was Brian's assistant. Because I didn't know what he looked like.
Yeah.
And basically they just talked to you, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm in the middle of 7 children. My dad was in the Navy. And we just talked for about 5 minutes. And basically what you're doing is you're showing them you're either checked on a list of let's see him again, or you're crossed off. Because you don't do any performing or anything, you just talk a little bit, and it's next.
How did you do?
Well, I was told that, Robert said that, and my agent said, one of the characters is a farm boy, so he's probably not really sophisticated, he's probably not all that bright. The role I was born to play. He should probably look freshly punched, slightly bewildered. But so you try and go in and be genuine and just be who you are, but you have no idea what they're looking for. And then months later, maybe 6 weeks later, I got a 6-page scene in the mail. And that was the first time I'd seen any material. And I went in and I did a videotaped screen test with Harrison. And I got really excited because I knew Harrison Ford.
Come on!
And I knew him from American Graffiti.
Yeah, he was pretty great. Now look at this. See, I love all these great candy shots. It looks like you're having so much fun.
Right. Oh, look at Fire Sale. That was a movie that came out the same summer as us from Alan Arkin directed that. And I later worked with Alan. He directed me off-Broadway in the production of Room Service. And he's still mad at Star Wars because he's convinced that it killed Fire Sale.
You're doing today, what's the big problem? It's with Fire Sale, had a couple of spaceships and probably...
Would have been great. No, but so we went in. I read this speed test.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is this like serious or is it a parody? It seemed to be like it could be like Elvis or something.
Do you remember some of the lines you have?
Here's the thing. Now, I've done this before. Bear with me if you've done this before. But there's a line that was in the screen test that's not in the movie. And all these years later, 163 years later, I still remember this line. Because we're in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and there was no Wookiee. It was just Han Solo, and he's like, "Hey kid, I want to get my part." I'm just trying to approximate sort of that minimalist, low energy Harrison. We make him lean into everything he said because it's like he's hypnotizing me at the same time as he's but anyway, he was saying that we're turning back. And I said, and my character says to him, but we can't turn back. Fear is their greatest defense. I doubt if the actual security there is any greater than it was on Aquila or Silas. And what there is most likely directed towards a large-scale assault. And I went, who talks like this? I mean, you can diagram that sentence.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Fear is their greatest defense, meaning whatever that, because that's no moon, that's a space station. That's why I wants to turn around. And regarding that space station, I say, but fear is their greatest defense. I doubt if the actual security there is any greater than it was on Aquila or Solus, two made-up names of little asteroids, that I get. And what there is most likely directed towards a large-scale assault. In other words, we're small enough in the Millennium Falcon to slip in because they're looking for big armadas. Yep. So, I mean, it made sense when I broke it down, but I remember saying to George, I said, this is like kind of in fun, and he was like, well, let's just do it more about that. Which I later learned from experience, when George says that, it means let's do it now and never talk about it. He doesn't like that. I think one of the reasons he is successful at what he does is he casts people that are so close to what he wants that he doesn't have to go in there and do major,
He gets the natural energy of the day out.
That's the part. And so, I mean, I would be like on the Death Star, he's saying, wait a second. She might be picking up on the princess kind of, dancing back and forth with Han Solo, or shouldn't I notice the robots are making wisecracks and so forth? He goes, it's just, and I said another thing, pronunciation. Is it Leia or Leah? Is it Han or Han? Is it Chewbacca or Chewbacca? He goes, I don't care, just say Leia. And I said, you mean there's no right way to say these names? Well, it's regional.
Yeah. I always kind of appreciated that about him, because he did that in Clone Wars quite a bit, where we would all say it, and he let us all say it differently, because he thought that that's more real.
Yeah,
it really is.
I know, because when people say Nevada, people say Nevada, so, it's like, basically it's don't sweat the small stuff.
So, now, getting back to all this great chemistry that you guys had, I mean, we do have some great shots. Was it always fun on set? I mean, it's always, from what I see and from what I hear from y'all, it seems like you guys really did have a good time. Look at that! We're going in space!
I can't remember laughing as much on anything as this movie. I mean, it was just wicked fun. I mean, we had to take it seriously. We had to really sell it in terms of like, if you don't believe it, then nobody's going to believe it. Yeah. But just to get it all out of our system, we goof on it when the cameras weren't rolling. And I mean, I was reminded of that because I saw this documentary footage of us making our way back to the Millennium Falcon when Alec Guinness gets cut down.
Yeah.
And that's a really dramatic moment for me, but like I said, it was like being put out on the biggest playground with all, props, your own toy robots and laser. I mean, how could you not have fun?
Yeah.
If you can't have fun doing that, then you're in the wrong movie. And I do remember the swing across. You just had a picture up of Carrie and I was looking forward to that all week long. 2 days, doing the swing across, tomorrow. And we were both in harnesses, the way you would, be harnessed up for Peter Pan.
Sure.
So we were all on wires, and then they have our two harnesses linked together, carrying them.
Yeah.
And so we're ready to go, there we are. And what I didn't realize was that they had at least 4 cameras going, in my memory, maybe 3, I'm thinking it's 4. And normally in the movies you do it over and over, and you might spend all day doing that. We swim across.
You're that good.
We swim across, and you go, camera, it's good, all right, moving on.
That's it.
What? What a shit!
That's the last
I said, that is so. So I did a little mini tantrum, and they said, all right, we'll get Terry on the harness. If Mark wants to fly, we'll fly. They flew me all around. I was like, really good at it. Anyway.
Now, speaking of all these wonderful people that you worked with, let's do it. I think it's time for a Star Wars Weekend's double take, don't you think? Yep, let's do it.
It's a Star Wars Weekend's double take.
All right. So, Mark, let's for time's sake, let's talk the cast for a bit. I'm going to give you a name, and you give me a sentence or a word, okay? A sentence or a word per person to sum them up and your time with them, okay? Here we go. First one, elegance.
Alternate gentleman and alternate actor. I just adored Alec. He had a wonderful sense of humor. He loved, of all things, I'd be asking about the Lavender Hill mob or the lady from, I wasn't talking about the oil. I said, we want to hear about soap opera and a dog from commercial. I had done nothing that he would have seen. But he loved my lack of pretense. He loved the fact that he loved American humor.
Yeah.
And I remember one time his wife was sketching a mosque when we were in Tunisia. And this was taboo to the religion there. And a local official realized what she was doing. And he grabbed the paper and tore it up and laid hands and startled, and so was Alec. And he turned to me and he said, "Who was that?" I said, "I have no idea, unless it was a local art critic." Now, see, he loved that because it was unexpected. He knew I could do his name.
And that was the longest sentence I've ever heard. Okay. Excellent.
I failed this miserably. So I'm like, no, nice. That's what you're going to get from now on.
Here we go. Harrison Ford.
Nice.
Carrie Fisher.
Very nice.
Give us more than 2 words. Come on.
Well, as you all know, Carrie is just wickedly funny. Incredible wit, and her mother is just a legend in cinema history.
For those of you that don't know, Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds. Really a wonderful actress. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves because she sings and dances, and they somehow think that makes her less of an actress. So if you see her in How the West Was Won, or that recent thing when she played Liberace's mother.
Pretty great, yeah.
I didn't recognize her. She was a wonderful actress. She loves to laugh, I love to laugh. Harrison is also very funny.
Yeah.
Very, very witty, and I wish he would do more comedies.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm a little maker,
If you get some time with him, that's pretty funny. In the near future, if you get time with him, you can encourage him to do that. If you get time with him anytime in the near future, you can encourage him to do some comedies. Okay, Irving Kershner.
Brilliant, and really in tune with the mystical aspects of, where George really didn't want to talk about things, Kershner was an actor's director. He really loved talking about motivation and backstory, and there he is.
As you say things, it comes out right there.
It's amazing.
It's just magic.
I talk about my honeymoon.
I know. We got a way tonight. Frank Oz. Frank Oz.
Oh, Frank. grew up being just so enamored of the Muppets. I mean, even before the Muppet Show, you know, they say, hey Mark, the Muppets are going to be on Ed Sullivan this Sunday, you know. So I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And he couldn't be nicer. Again, he's a wonderful director, as he's shown over the years. But so personable, that's Wendy.
Yeah.
You know, it was very lonely on the set because they were all underground. And I have a little earpiece, much like this one I have on today. And if I turn in a certain direction, I pick up radio waves. So I'd be watching Frank and go, many years ago. And all of a sudden, it would, ooh, Daddy, you're a fool. I go, I'm in the Rolling Stones. Oh, there he is. I said I sort of laughed, you know, right in Yoda's face, didn't I?
You do a pretty good Yoda, I think.
Well, you know what happened is we all started doing Yoda. Everybody, you know, we'd break for lunch and the blue guy would say, to the commissary you are going. So everybody's talking backwards and talking like Yoda. And Frank eventually said, you know, please, it was posted on the all board, please stop doing Yoda because Frank's starting to do your version of his version of his version. So you have to stop that. But you know, they were really forthcoming in terms of letting me put the puppet on. I went up to Stuart Freeborn's workshop when they were whipping up the phone to make Yoda. We went down on Saturdays when we weren't shooting and worked all day with Frank, and I just loved it. I mean, from the minute I set eyes on that Yoda, I said, it just works so totally for me.
Well, here's the thing, and we had one other person that I was going to give a name for. We'll get back to it, but your performance with Yoda, I think, is really what made us all believe him and believe in Yoda. It's so much because it's just the two of you. There was never a doubt that Yoda was alive. I mean, it seemed that the two of you had this special bond. You know?
And I held my breath and kept my fingers crossed because I said, if we get one critic that mentions, even in a positive way, that Hamill works well with puppets, I said, we're dead. And Frank, I mean, that's sort of an insider. I mean, James being an actor himself, who doesn't understand, but Frank actually said to me, you know, do something to see.
You were scratching it. It was great.
Get used to this facial fur. But Frank said to me, he said, look, you know, like I said to him, I tried working that puppet. It wasn't easy. I mean, yeah, the mechanical ears, somebody was working the eyes, but in terms of just the way he manipulated the mouth and the way he made the body sag and tilt the head when he was listening to me, because I would do it in the mirror, and of course, you know, with his decades of experience, it made me really appreciate what he brought to the performance. And I was talking to him one time, I said, you know, thank goodness that they toyed with the idea of making a little person in a mask. George at one point said, how about a monkey with a head on it? No, seriously, well, you remember a band where they just dressed up an elephant, but he only had to be in a couple of, you know, he didn't have to really carry scenes. But yeah, I've worked with some pretty uncouth actors, but never a Spider-Man in a mask. That sounds like a recipe for a disaster. Frank actually said to me, and that's one of my fondest and most proud moments, he said, if you didn't believe, no one would have believed. And he credited me much too generously with being a large percentage of how that thing worked. And I don't agree with him because, like I say, I would have to pretend to believe. I believed. You know, I just thought he was, from the moment, and even before he was, and by the way, he was always breaking down to the point where wherever you see Luke without Yoda, or if you see over Yoda's shoulder onto Luke, it's the dummy Yoda, because they run the main one up to Stewart's office or workshop and work on him. So most of the time, he was a piece of tape on a stick going, I can't be a Jedi. You know, it's right here. There you go. But I can. I'm telling you, I can be a Jedi.
Fantastic stuff, though. It really is. Now, do you remember the first scene you shot? You remember that?
For the very
Of all of them. You remember?
Yes. The very first shot in the movie is me coming out of that igloo-type dwelling to buy the robots, and then I hear Aunt Beru, Luke, and what's so funny was when I went over to that crater and looked down, it was only this deep. When they did the reverse over my shoulder, it was miles away, 50, 100 miles away at a real hotel. And that was the lobby of a hotel.
Yeah.
So that's the magic of movies. You pretend. So as I was walking out of that little igloo house, they said, you walk about 10 feet and then react like someone's calling you. Because Sheila Fraser, who played Aunt Beru, she wasn't even on set that day.
So who called? Was it George?
No, he didn't like doing that. He didn't like doing that. He said, just walk on, I don't know, walk to around there and then pretend like Aunt Beru's calling you. Because I knew the script was Luke. So I started walking on, and then you just do it. It's all make-believe. I mean, I've been doing this, like, I'm sure you're the same way. I mean, we used to play Zorro in the backyard, or Robin Hood, or we go see a James Bond movie, and for days after we going around like, sneaking around corners.
You still weird.
I was a weird kid,
That session, what we're doing.
I still do the same way with voices. I remember the first time I ever saw Dracula.
Yeah.
I want to know who talks like this. Why does he talk like that?
This gets me on. You're actually quite the impressionist. We've done quite a few voiceover shows together. I remember, you've already done a little Harrison, but there was a show we did where we were doing voice matches. I was doing like Martin Scorsese and you were doing Harrison Ford.
You know who does great is, I did Stuart Little and Michael J. Fox didn't do the series. Your Michael J. Fox is spot on.
Oh, thank you. Well, wait a second, Doc. Whoa, you tell me about the time machine?
Close your eyes if you're there.
Where I sit, Mark, if you're going to put a time machine in the car, why don't you go this time?
That's why, if you ever see Comic Book the movie out, I directed this mock documentary at the San Diego Comic Book Convention, and it's filled with voiceover people. I didn't really have the time or the budget to really audition people. I just know the wealth of talent there is in voiceover, and I went, oh, he would be perfect to play X, Y, or Z, and that's the way we cast it.
It was a lot of fun, and thank you for letting me be in that with you. It was a lot of fun. Let's do a little social media madness. Do you mind taking some questions from Twitter and Instagram and all of those? Can we do a little social media madness here, guys?
Social media madness.
Okay. Here's how this works, Mark. We asked people on Twitter to send us hashtag #AskHamill. And we got flooded with questions, and we've chosen a few. Do you mind answering some of these? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the first one here. Okay, it says, what was your favorite scene to shoot in the trilogy?
Boy, that's so tough. Your favorite scene. One of the scenes I kept looking forward to because I thought would pop when I read the script. In a science fiction or fantasy movie, everybody's waiting for the monster. Now, you saw the Tusken Raiders and the Jawas to a certain extent. But I said, when we walk into that cantina, and it's just nothing but wall-to-wall monsters, that really appealed to me. And so I was really, really looking forward to that one. But I already talked about how much I love the swing across. I love being in the trash compactor. I mean, so many of these elements in the movie were right out of the kind of things that I loved when I was a kid. Tarzan movies and, swashbuckler pirate movies, cowboy movies. And it just seemed like a dream come true. I mean, I was a kid that read Famous Monsters magazine, built all the Aurora Monster kits. So I was the one that would really get it. Hey, you guys, our faces are masks on the back of cereal boxes. And Harrison was there. I had to get in this business to be on a cereal box. I said, yeah, we are. I thought you had to be an athlete to become a bubblegum card. Believe me.
You're a giant.
I'm not a good athlete, but I made it. I made it onto a bubblegum card.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. Okay, let's get another one of these here.
All right.
All right, what do we got? Okay, Raymond is asking, while filming the Wampa scenes on Lost, how long did you actually have to hang upside down?
Oh gosh, days on days. What happened was we shot like 1 or 2 days main unit.
Yeah.
And then Kirshner and everybody moved on, and that became a second unit shot. Gary Kurtz did a day, Robert Watts did a day, I think Norman Reynolds did 2 days.
And they left you hanging?
Well, that was a joke. They go, okay, that's a break for lunch, everybody would walk on. But it's a wonderful way to lose weight, by the way. Because not only do you sort of lose your appetite hanging upside down, but you don't want to disgrace yourself in any manner, shape, or form. So you can really eat like oatmeal and, you know, really watch what you eat. And people would come and lift you halfway so the blood wouldn't completely rush to your head. But it just went on and on and on and on. And talk about flying. It's the same guy that flew us across when we were with the princess, but he had me in a harness and I was upside down, and that was what we call a styrofoam over there, they call polystyrene. Polystyrene. There you go. And I think his name was Derek. But he had these marks on, you know, because I couldn't see him, he was somewhere behind the set. And he would preset where I was and where to drop me when I got the lightsaber and cut the stalactite down so I wouldn't crush myself. I just had to tuck my chin and take it with the brunt on my shoulders. Well, one day, apparently he had a little brandy at lunch. And he mixed up his marks. And he started, after one of the takes where I was down, he started bringing me up. And he didn't stop. I started breaking through the coffee star, and I was screaming, Derek, stop! 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 It was snowing, almost polystyrene, and I just had to be there.
Speaking of being there,
It was exciting.
we had John Ratzenberger here last week. Anybody? And you know, he was in Empire Strikes Back. Now, I don't know if you are aware that he was in a scene with you that was cut out. Have you seen this?
I have not seen
We
it.
just uncovered this. So let's just take a look at this.
Oh boy.
If you guys have it. What's the matter?
Welcome to the rule number 1 out here. Nip in a blizzard.
You asked me, you said one of the questions might be what is the worst sound in Star Wars?
Oh, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to
All
that.
right, well that reminds me, just we'll get there.
Okay, let's do another social media
All right.
question here. Oh, that's sweet. It's not much of a question. It's more so, I love you. Look at that. Seriously. That's right. So, let's see that. All right. Okay, very nice. Okay, and one last one. We have time for one last one? Let's take a look.
Sure.
Could you do a short dialogue between Luke and the Joker, where Joker tells you put you on the spot or anything. I mean, that's kind of...
Well, to get warmed up to Luke, it's me! The Prince of Crime! And also, your father. No, that's not true! That's impossible! Get used to it, kiddo. Is a wonderful writer. Paul Dini wrote some of the best Joker episodes. And all these years later, lines pop into my head like, without Batman, crime has no punchline. Which I love. Crime has no punchline, like it needs one. He's just wonderful, you know? Because let's face it, it's the dull mind that made me the happy character I am today. How I agonize over how to thank him for that. Perhaps with a cyanide pie in the face, or this floating whoopee cushion playfully placed in the back of the wheel. That's you know, and on my last Joker, I retired after Arkham City. Well, I don't know if you played the game. If you played the game, no spoilers, it doesn't really end well for Joker. And I've been replaced in the role by Troy Baker.
Troy Baker, great.
Troy, yeah, he's on, I did a show called Regular Show. It's on Cartoon Network. Regular Show. Anybody know that? Okay. Yeah, it's on Regular Show.
Yeah, you do that very kind of flip, but you're one of the most talented voice actors out there, and we all are always so privileged when you come in. So, this whole second kind of career.
And you know what was great about the voiceover people, because I didn't really get into it until the early 90s. I did something when I was a teenager. I did the animated version of By Trina G in the Larry Hagman role. Now, she cut that out, you're going right back in the bottom. And Julia Porter was G doing an incredible Barley. And I worked with Larry Hagman, and when I told him that, I said, you know, I can't do you, but I played your part in the cartoon version. Now, that would have been like 72 or 3. Okay. And I didn't work again in voiceover. By the time I did it again, it was Joker. And I didn't know about voiceover agents, theatricalized just in that, because I got Genie through my theatrical agent. But the reason I'm bringing this up is when I went to do my first voiceover jobs, I knew who Rob Paulson was, I knew who Jeff Bennett was, I knew who Tress McNeil, Maurice LaMarche.
Now let me explain that.
Frank
Rob
Welker.
Paulson and Maurice LaMarche are Pinky in the Brain. Anybody know Pinky in the Brain? Rob Paulson is from the Animaniacs. Well, they're all from the Animaniacs. Trust me. You know, I mean, these are giants in voiceover. Yeah.
I would. First of all, I'm a huge animation fan. I've been all my life, and I would take these things on Saturday morning. I'd watch with the boys and my daughter as they were growing up. But I would freeze frame on the end credits, and because I want to know who played all these characters. Have you ever tried to read the end credits without a freeze frame?
Oh yeah.
There's 60 names, you can't see anybody.
Yeah.
So I think they were flattered that I knew who they were. I mean, I knew who you were before I met you, so.
Who am I, Mark? Come on.
But it's true. I still remember seeing that episode of the Walt Disney Show where they showed Clarence Nash doing Donald Duck. It was the first time, maybe 6 or 7, where I thought, oh, wait a minute, yeah. There are actors that go in and voice cartoons.
That's right. And now I'm going to do a shameless plug for my show. Okay, because if you want to know more about that, you can come back and see Obi-Wan Beyond later. Good idea.
You should see the show.
Hey, honestly though, we really appreciate that you are such a lover of voice acting. You are a tremendous voice actor, and I thank you, because the first project we ever worked on, I played the kid version, and you played you did this great old man, it was just a narration, you were narrating, so we played the same character.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was many, many years ago on an animated film. I think it's called Arrow Troopers?
Arrow Trooper.
It was an Arrow Troopers, yeah. So that was fun. So we played the same role. That was my first time working with
you. Well, I finally, after all those years of being asked, I said, okay, I'll do a Clone Wars, and so I did one episode. Yeah, and they said, don't tweet or don't talk about it or don't mention it. I said, oh, okay. 3 years later, I mean, it's been on, it's gone.
Yeah, it was on Netflix, it's in season 6, and you are fantastic in it.
Was it never on Cartoon Network?
It was not on Cartoon Network, it is on Netflix, you can see it now. And you play Darth Bane.
Bane, yes, exactly. And the reason I said, when they said, well, was that him?
That's him.
Because they said, I said, what do you want me to do? I said, I kind of want to make it special, so find something that's fun. And they had me at Darth.
Yeah.
Because I thought, Darth anybody's got to be interesting.
We wanted you on that show for so many years, and it was fantastic that you actually got to play that.
Tom Kane did.
Tom Kane is fantastic. Hey, you know, we are looking at doing something here that I love to do. It's time that we take you inside the Akbar studio.
Oh. It's a cut.
So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you 7 questions. And if you can just give me the answers here, best you can, we'll see what happens. We'll see how much we all learn about you in Star Wars, okay? Question number 1. What is your favorite Star Wars film?
It's like asking who's your favorite child. I love them all for different reasons, but if you really press me, I have to say Empire. Only because it asks so much more of the audience. It's much more cerebral. It's got elements that are really scary. It doesn't end happily. Yoda's introduced. It's just a much more textured, interesting film. But I can make arguments for Jedi and the original as well.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
I love all my children.
And we have 2 other days of this, so you can answer it for each. What Star Wars sound do you love?
I love any language that you don't understand, whether it's the Jawas, yeah, or the what do they call the Sand people?
Yeah.
There you go. Ewoks, any or R2 is a symphony of emotions, and yet we have no idea what he's saying exactly. And I think that again is engaging your imagination, and you're filling in what he's saying and to 3PO. So
Okay,
that's what I like.
and you gave us a little hint here. What Star Wars sound do you not love?
Okay, this is a pet peeve of mine. When I read the script for what happened in the Wampa Cave, I said, well, wait a second. They didn't describe what happens in the film. They said, with a swipe of the lightsaber, he makes the creature draw back.
Sure, he
I don't even know if they called it a Wampa. You know, a lot of times they wouldn't name these things until they made them into toys. Believe me. We called it the medical droid and didn't know until after Tanner got his hands on it that it was IG-88. Yeah. So we called it the dustbin robot, the medical droid, the ice creature, whatever it was. And I remember saying to them, I said, well, wait a second, the camera's here and all I had to do was this with the lightsaber. And I said, no, wait a minute, guys. This thing's just like a hungry bear. He's not evil. So I'm just like nicking his fur, right? I'm just scaring him a little, just giving him a little sting, like with a fly swatter. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it. You know, Luke would never, because I said, Luke loves animals. I mean, Mark loves animals too. And I don't want to do anything that would be cruel or inhumane. Oh, don't worry about it. Cut to me in the theater a year and a half later. Not only do I cut his arm off, it comes down in slow motion. Boom! Hits the deck. Yeah. The sound that he makes when I cut his arm off. Okay. It's just, I'm still. Okay. But they tricked me. I specifically asked. I'm not going to hurt him, right? I'm just going to make him. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay. Question number 4. What is your favorite Star Wars word?
Wookiee.
Excellent. What character besides your own would you like to have been?
Oh, you got some time on your hands? My first read, I don't know who's playing this Darth Vader guy, but really? And I also thought of the humans. Who would want to be Han Solo? He's wisecracking, hey, he's mocking the Force, you believe that Force garbage? I mean, he was the modern voice of cynicism, which I think was a great release for the audience. They were able to accept a lot of the more corny elements in the movie because there was a surrogate making fun of everything for them. I think that was very clever. So everybody wanted to be Harrison. I did, I know.
On that note, what character would you not like to be?